Back here on Sportsline, the Titans getting set now for a big trip out to Oakland to take on the Raiders Sunday afternoon, 3:25 over on News Channel 5. Let's hear from head coach Mike Vrabel wrapping up the big win over the Colts on Sunday and looking ahead to this all-important week.
The sacks yesterday, at what point do you start how do you try to fix them? Obviously only the one allowed in the second half, but with the turnovers, Ryan's had a couple of fumbles here in the last 2 weeks. How critical to try and get those tightened up?
The sacks or the turnovers, Teresa? Which one are we talking about? We went a little different direction. Okay. Yeah, we have to get rid of the football when it's not there. I mean, it's, you get to go through all these and break them down, and sometimes we're all included. When we run the football successfully, it's 11 guys operating, and when we throw the football efficiently, it's 11 guys operating. And when we don't do those things, there's a breakdown somewhere, and every sack is not going to be on the offensive line, every sack's not going to be on the quarterback, and every sack's not going to be because we didn't get open. We certainly have to make sure that we protect our quarterback, to make sure that we get open in man coverage, that we run great routes in zone. And then when it's not there, we have to understand the journey's over and get rid of it and make sure that we're not, fumbling the football.
On AJ's fumble, do you coach guys in that situation to play beyond the whistle, and should Johnny pounce on that then?
We try to coach a lot of things, so we have to make sure that we do play to the recovery of the football and not the whistle. We have to disregard the whistle, everything that you've been taught from the time that you were, starting to play this game, is that you play to the echo of the whistle. And I can tell you that there's few instances where that's not always the case. One would be any loose ball. You saw that we did that at the end of the game, and therefore we're able to challenge, because without clear recovery, those challenges become impossible. And so it is important for us to play to recover the whistle, or at worst, try to knock it out.
Is that an awkward rule in that if that ball had trickled out of bounds or it had been recovered by somebody out of bounds, you then get credit for the catch? But because there's not a...
I think what happens is if it's ruled incomplete, in order to make it a completed catch, there has to be clear recovery from someone. And I can go back to the playoff game. If you reference that in Chicago with the Eagles, there was a play late in the game that I believe they called incomplete, and the ball sat there. And when you looked at it on replay, it was indeed a catch and a fumble, but the ball sat there for what was 5 or 6 seconds, and no one went and got the ball. So at that point in time, whoever would have recovered that football would have been able to challenge.
But it's odd, yes, they twice called it a catch. He called it a catch when he explained it, and Al called it a catch in our pool report. He said it was caught.
It was caught. There was possession, I guess, is when they reviewed it, and I'm trying to do the best job that I can in understanding and in talking to the officials and talking to Al, is that it was possession. When you look at what the definition of possession is, that the receiver or the player possesses the football, takes 2 steps, and at that point in time makes a football movement or a 3rd step. So he clearly did all those things by the definition, and then now it just gets a little tricky on what the ruling on the field was.
The team has won, I guess, several close games this season. How do you develop, I guess, the mindset or maybe the grit that you're going to find a way when things are close? I guess, and as part of it, just doing it a couple of times that builds confidence.
It's first of all identifying players that aren't front runners by nature to bring in here. I think those are the type of people that you have to identify, because some of those guys is going to be hard to change their mentality. Now, then it's my job or our job here to instill that in them, understanding that games are going to be close. They're going to be tightly contested, most division games. That's just how this league is designed to be. It keeps people watching. At the end of the year, there's a bunch of teams that can make the playoffs. There's a lot of things that happen in this league that's supposed to be geared towards parity. And so that brings in the situations that happen every week. I think you have to be really good in situational football, and not have any panic involved in you, and stay the course, and be consistent, and understanding that a few plays are going to make the difference in the football game.
How did Ty and Kareem hold up in their extended?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that we saw some good things and some things that we need to clean up and improve on. But Ty finishing that play at the end of the game was a huge play. It was a physical play. Ty did not turn down contact whatsoever. He went in there, looked for contact. He hammered the football, and being us recovering that football, Kamala, you could see almost overreacting that he got it, was what enabled us to challenge that call there.
Press box reported on the door, he said knee, but he was icing his foot. Can you clarify that for us?
We'll talk about injuries probably not in this week until we make a determination on their status on Wednesday.
How tough is that when you mentioned Orr and Smith? How tough is it to go from 0 snaps all season to playing 50, 60 in a game like that?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Orr or Ty. I don't know. I didn't play in the game. I didn't play 0 snaps to 50, but
How would you guess it might be?
I think they're supposed to be ready to go. That's why we practice, and we have these guys here, and that's why we go back to the practice squad. And so critical that these guys, we try to give them a card, but we just try to also make them say, hey, here's what coverage you're playing, here's the defense, here's the technique, go play, so that these guys can go against our receivers, the linemen can go against our linemen, and that's their way to improve. And we've had a number of those guys do that, not only this year and last year, and Ty and Kareem are some of those guys. I think you see Khalif that was doing that, was running routes and getting open in practice and improving. I think that Kari Blasingame was doing that in Minnesota and trying to improve. I mean, there's only so many reps to go around, and so you try to get ready for the game in different ways.
Could you expand a little bit on that, what the balance is like in getting a guy on the practice squad in a position to help the guys he's competing against, but also putting themselves in a position to help if needed?
Yeah, I think that the job here is not just to run a card. It's not just to be a body. It's that we think that you, if on Friday or Saturday, need to get called up, you're responsible for the game plan at your position, and you may or may not be activated, but it's your job to be ready to go and prepare that, on special teams responsibilities or in offense and defensive responsibilities that you're ready to go. And there's been a number of examples where that's happened, and guys can jump in there and be a backup and be up on game day.
As an offense, are you guys beginning to better embrace the rushing game, and is that why it's being more successful?
I don't think that we've always tried to embrace different aspects of our offense. I mean, just because we've had a little bit more success, maybe we've blocked a little better, maybe we've run a little better, and we've been able to get to it by a number of circumstances, the nature of the game, how the game's going. We have to take care of the football, and there's some things that we have to fix and clean up, but I know those guys take a lot of pride in blocking, working on the edge, receivers blocking, tight ends working in combination with tackles, and so.
Is there something to the success that you got? Because last year you had a lot of success late in the season running the ball. This year it looks like you're trending in that direction also.
Again, everybody's just trying to improve. My goal is to try to make sure that we improve as the season goes along. In my history in this league, those are the teams that end up being in a good spot at the end of the year, is that you try to improve, and hopefully we've been able to do that, and we can continue to do that.
You said yesterday that you feel like the field goal block has basically become a weapon for this team. All 4 of their blocks come in the last 4 games. Was there a point where you realized we need to let these guys go a little bit more, or what's allowed them to be so successful here lately?
I think that Josh getting out there and coming back off IR certainly helped, his length, and Jeffrey's ability to do some things, and the guys, again, we just try to make sure that everybody's going hard and not taking the play off and competing And now I hope that we expect to block one every week.
In your career as a player and as a coach, what's the difference in maybe not so good special teams and a special teams like the one that you have here?
I think that every phase, I think whether it's offense, defense, or, players need to be prepared. If you're comfortable that they, know what to do and are given techniques to help them do their job, they have to go out and perform. That's what it is. When I missed a tackle, I never looked over at the coach and was like, that's terrible coaching, because I was taught the proper leverage or the technique, or taught to stay on my feet, or taught how to break the stiff arm down. So, there were certainly instances in the game yesterday where I thought the players were prepared and that they executed. And I think that in this game we knew, I think a huge turn of events was our ability to stop them when they went fast on 3rd and 1. And Kenny was very well prepared by the staff, but Kenny also executed it. And they tried to pick him and go to the flat and man coverage on 3rd and 1, and he's standing right there, and he really runs the route for the guy because he knew it was coming. And then on 4th and 1, they go for it, and they're not able to, they jump instead of us jumping. And then on 4th and 1, we go fast and score a touchdown. So we knew coming in that was something that they had done on film, and they had done a very good job of it, of converting those 3rd and 1 and 2 and 4th and 1 plays where they're going fast and catching the defense off guard. So that's a long way to answer your question about the preparation, and then ultimately the player going out there, the unit going out there, and executing it.
You talked about not having front runners in the locker room relative to success late in the games. Is that something that you saw that was maybe born a couple of months ago in the 2 and 4 days? Is that where that comes from, do you think?
Well, I think it comes in handy. I just think that's, I'd like to think that that's how, I was raised. I think that that's the attitude that I want to have in our coaching staff and our organization and our players. And you're going to need to use it at times in the gamut. First play of the game. We overcame a lot of things yesterday, some turnovers, some field position. It's a long game. It's a long season. And then just try to make sure that the players understand that just because the first play didn't go our way doesn't mean that the rest of them won't.
Ryan talked a little bit about Adoree', but do you have some concerns about depth at corner now without Malcolm, without LaShawn, and now Adoree' nursing injuries, or where you stand as far as confidence?
John and I chuckled this morning. There were 64 guys, 62 other guys doing the same thing we were doing, going through the roster and seeing who might be available and who might not. So everybody deals with this stuff in December in the National Football League, and we'll find out who's available, and we'll get the guys that are as prepared as we possibly can for the game.
How much? Obviously, Quentin Nelson, he's a premier interior lineman. Walking away from the film after watching Simmons against him, how would you feel he fared against him?
Well, I think that Jeff played better yesterday, and whether he was matched up, whoever he was matched up on, and there's some things that he still needs to continue to work on and improve. But I thought he was active. He tried to understand the game plan, and he factored a few times. I think that he was excited, that we were able to win the football game, and he was, able to have a large part of that in playing at 41 snaps.
Is there something that could be said to the strength that he plays with?
Well, he's a naturally powerful athlete. That God made him big and powerful. We just have to continue to coach him and get him to play with great technique and great effort.
Some of those tight window throws that Ryan makes, when you get those, what do they do in terms of sustaining the offense and adding to the operation when you can get a play when maybe there's barely a play there?
It's that's what this league is. A lot of times there's tight windows and there's long, they have long athletic linebackers, and so sometimes in zone coverage those windows are tight, and we'll have to try to continue to find those windows and do the best job that we can to get guys in the right space. And I think that we got to catch it in traffic, and we got to trust it. And that's one thing, we've done is we've been decisive for the most part. Corey was really strong on that catch. It was a tight window, I think you're referencing, or AJ's. So again, that's what you have to throw around, guys. Quarterbacks have to change their arm angle, whether that's on screens or quick game passes or play passes.
Tannehill seems thoroughly bothered no matter what kind of situation you guys get into. What kind of stands out about his poise when you're in these late game situations?
I think he's prepared. I think he's comfortable running our offense. I think that him and Arthur have a very good relationship. I think that they on the football, it wasn't perfect. I mean, we took some sacks there in the 2-minute situation where we have to improve. But I think that the communication is good between Arthur and Ryan and Ryan and the offense.
How much has the success of the passing game helped the running attack, you think, probably the last several weeks here?
I think it all ties in. Just trying to be as balanced and gain as many yards as we can, and each and every week what we feel like gives us the best chance to win.
How would you evaluate Khalif's preparedness and coming off the practice squad and contributing in multiple ways over the last month?
That's it's kind of who we want to be. He's been cut 3 times or whatever, and it doesn't matter where where you went to college. It doesn't matter how you got here. It only matters what you do when you're here. And he's taking advantage of every opportunity. He comes in, he's prepared, he studies, he's got a great attitude, he's tough. So I'm happy for him for yesterday. He made a huge play for us.
Did you get any positive feedback on the length of your challenge flag throw or the form at the end of it?
The Steph Curry fadeaway is
Very popular.
What did Carter think?
Is it gaining steam?
Yeah, people say everyone should throw that one. Congratulations on that.
Stretch and I have been working on that all summer.
You talk much about standings this week, or you trust everybody knows the situation at this point?
No, I'm sure everybody, most everybody that was going to be in this room has won 7 games in the National Football League. It's not that big of a deal. So that's going to be the message, that 7 games won't get you anything. It'll get you, So I think that's just going to be the message, is that we just need to continue to do what we've been doing.